All right. DW Gaming here with the latest from Dead by Daylight. It is the developer update for September 2023. By Peanuts, of course, so it's going to be extremely biased towards Survivor. There's no doubt about that. This is my first time seeing this, so I've not been able to look over anything of what they are doing. But let's get into it here. So, spooky season's officially underway. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Developer update, whatever. Anti-face camping. This is going to be a problem. It's going to be on the PTB later this week. I hope they get some good feedback. Don't listen to people who are new to the game. But I can tell this is going to be a problem if they don't change it. Just the mechanic in and of itself is problematic. So let's see what they say. You probably don't want to find yourself on the hook in the first place. Listen to that first sentence. So he assumes that everyone's playing Survivor. Is no one playing Killer in this guy's world? What's going on with it? This guy is just, he needs to go. But it can quickly become frustrating if the killer decides to wait nearby, preventing all but the most coordinated teams from rescuing you. Sometimes that's necessary, though. Okay? This guy obviously doesn't understand what goes on in high-level matches. Camping has long been a contentious topic. While there are times when camping is a smart thing for the killer to do, if the survivors are nearby, for example, that's not the only time that camping is necessary. But whatever. There's not much that the survivor being camped can do. To help in the most extreme cases, we are introducing a new feature which may give you a second chance. Okay. Most extreme cases, it's not going to be limited to the most extreme cases. I mean, this is an asinine statement. He assumes that all killers do is as soon as they get someone down, they camp them at 5 gens. That's not smart for the killer to do anyway. The killer will lose too many other generators and eventually lose the game. But at some point during the match, it is necessary to camp. If the generators get out of control, it can put pressure on the team to do something other than generators. But listen to this guy. Help in the most extreme cases. Well, how are you going to differentiate the most extreme from the necessary cases? I assume when he says most extreme cases, he means camping at 5 gens. But this will apply all throughout the match. It won't matter how many gens are left. I think it only disables at endgame. Okay, going forward, you'll notice a new meter appears whenever you are on the hook. This meter will gradually fill whenever the killer is near you. The closer the killer is, the faster the meter will build. Once it is full, you'll gain the ability to unhook yourself with a 100% chance of success, even during the second hook phase. That's ridiculous. It definitely shouldn't apply during the second hook phase. Unhooking yourself in this way will grant you all the usual benefits, such as endurance and haste. That should not be a thing either. Those benefits apply only when someone else unhooks you. This is idiotic. Really, really great way not to motivate me to play killer again. To ensure that this cannot be abused by aggressive survivors, too late. It will be. The rate at which the meter fills will decrease or potentially even stop entirely when other survivors are nearby. Additionally, once the exit gates are powered, this feature is disabled entirely. This is because at this point in the match, the killer needs to do whatever they can to secure one last kill, so we can't expect them to graciously leave the hook. Yeah, but all during the match, you're expecting them to because you want them to be polite or something. They're the killer. They're trying to kill you. This new mechanic is intended to address the most egregious camping scenarios, discouraging killers from staying too close to a hook survivor. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Yeah, this better be changed. I don't like this at all. This is stupid. I mean, when a killer camps, what the other members of your team need to do are generators. That's all you need to do. If a killer camps at 5 gens, the other members of your team say, okay, let's finish the gens and get out of here. You don't need this BS. The only anti-camping change I would make is to disable, like Bubba's chainsaw, disable that near hooked survivors. That's it. I mean, this won't stop Bubba's from camping. If the survivor unhooks himself, the Bubba will just down them again. It's not going to stop Bubba. I don't know why they have such a hard time disabling his chainsaw near hooked survivors. I don't know why that's so difficult for them. But yeah, this is not good. This is not a good change at all. Yeah, you don't want to be camped. Just do gens and leave. The killer gets 1 kill each match. They'll eventually realize, hey, I'm not winning. I'm not getting as many blood points as I could be. Maybe I should try a different tactic. But nope, they immediately go to the knee-jerk reaction of camping. The extreme reaction is really not good at all. The Skull Merchant. Are you deleting her entirely? Because that's the only way that I think you can improve this character. It's been a while since the sound of drones first filled the Entity's realm. Yeah, they suck. Since then, the Skull Merchant's eyes in the sky have been largely used as eyes on the generators. Yeah, and you couldn't see that coming? Leading to some very long matches. In this update, we are overhauling the Skull Merchant's drones to reduce their effectiveness in defending generators while improving their strength in a chase. I thought you did that already. You're now trying to do it again? Let's see. Lock on. Active zones. Being the main culprit behind the Skull Merchant's ability to defend generators are no more. What does that mean? On top of making survivors exposed, these zones provide the Skull Merchant with too much information on the survivors within them, allowing the killer to quickly react and chase them away. With active zones removed, the Skull Merchant's drones need a new way to lock on to survivors. Now, when a survivor is scanned by a drone's beams, they will receive 1 stack of lock on. Upon reaching 3 stacks of lock on, the survivor will immediately receive a claw trap. Okay. Avoiding the drone scanners won't be easy thanks to the introduction of 2 new modes. Okay, all right. Eyes in the sky will now have 2 modes, stealth mode and scouting mode. In stealth mode, the drone's spinning beams will be invisible and the drone will be much quieter. Survivors will want to watch closely for the lights on the drone itself to tell where the beams are so they can sneak up and disable it. These things are hanging in midair. How are they going to be more stealthy? Just look up and you'll see the stupid thing. It's a big skull floating in the air. In scouting mode, the drone's scan lines will be visible and rotate much faster, making them more difficult to approach or run by undetected. In either mode, the drone's scan lines will not detect a survivor who is stationary, effectively preventing them from being used to guard generators. A survivor can interact with the drone in either state to disable it for 45 seconds, after which they will return to stealth mode. Okay, so that's interesting. So the drone actually won't disappear once they get a claw trap. It'll still stay in the area, but it'll just be disabled for a certain amount of time. Okay. Claw traps. Survivors who end up with a claw trap will find themselves on the receiving end of the following effects. If they are healthy, they will be instantly injured. Oh, that's dangerous. Okay, if they're injured, they will receive deep wound. This will not grant the survivor a speed boost. The survivor suffers from the broken status effect until the trap is removed. Their location will be revealed on the killer's scanner for a short duration. Additionally, survivors with a claw trap who are scanned by one of the killer's drones receive a 10% movement speed penalty for 6 seconds, are revealed to killer with killer instinct on their location for 3 seconds. The claw trap's battery will expire and the trap will be removed automatically after 45 seconds. Well, these sound kind of interesting. You will definitely want to use them in a chase. So if you're in a loop as Skull Merchant, you'll probably want to put a drone up immediately so the drone locks onto them. I wonder how long it will take to scan the survivor. And I wonder if they'll be able to leave the loop before the drone can lock onto them. I don't know. But yeah, you'll definitely want to use them in chase now. And then we have some quality of life changes. We have also made many adjustments across many aspects of the Skull Merchant to improve the way it feels to play as and against her. They've increased the number of drones available to 6. Skull Merchant will now immediately become undetectable for 8 seconds after deploying a drone. They've decreased the minimum distance between drones to 16 meters. The killer's movement speed is no longer decreased when checking the scanner. Yeah, that's what people have been clamoring for a while now. It's stupid that she'd have to slow down to check the scanner when a killer like Clown can hold a bottle and still retain his full movement speed. So yeah, that was really stupid. Lock-on progress no longer decays. Drones can no longer be manually reactivated. Drones can now be placed above or below other drones deployed on different floors. Failing to hack a drone will now grant one stack of lock-on instead of instantly locking on. Skull Merchant's footsteps are now quieter, making her harder to track behind walls. That's interesting. We have updated the Skull Merchant's chase music. Well, that's good because it sounded like a washing machine. Like a tumble cycle on the washing machine. So maybe it sounds better now. We'll see. We have reviewed the Skull Merchant's add-ons, adjusting some and giving new effects to others. Okay. Combined, these changes push the Skull Merchant's drones in a more chase-oriented direction, giving them more immediate consequences when they are triggered, rather than slowly building over time. At the same time, her ability to defend generators for excessive lengths of time has also been reduced substantially. We will be keeping a close eye on these changes and making further adjustments as needed. Okay. If they want to take killers in a more chase-oriented direction, that's fine. They need to do something about gen speeds. More importantly, gen perks and generator influencing items. Generators have been going much too fast. And they recently buffed brand new part to where as soon as it's applied to the generator, it takes off like, I think, 10 seconds that cannot be put back on the generator. So even if the killer goes to that gen and kicks it, it will still take a reduced amount of time to complete. They need to get rid of that. Brand new parts, honestly, shouldn't exist. Toolbox should be extremely limited in what they're able to do. There should be no generator influencing perks on survivor side. On killer side, those perks would also be done away with because survivors would have nothing to, no counterpart perks. And generators should only be minimally influenced if more than one survivor is working on them. I think if they implement those kind of changes and get rid of perks like Made for This, which extend chases, I think the killer would be more confident. Killer players would be more confident in going for different chases. But unfortunately, I doubt they'll do any of those things. I mean, it's good that they want to take like the Skull Merchant in a more chase-oriented direction, but if they really wanted to incentivize and make it less punishing for killers to go for chases, they need to do something about generators and do something about chase perks as well. The Shattered Square. This update will feature a gameplay update to the Shattered Square map. When reviewing feedback for this map, we identified a few points of feedback we wanted to address. How about it's too damn big? It's too damn big and it's got too many pallets. Low obstacles. It was possible to bump into some small objects, yes, such as piles of hay or carcasses. Since these obstacles were so small, it was possible that you could bump into them without even seeing them, leading to some frustrating moments. Exactly. We have done a pass on these sort of objects to ensure that anything which might block your path is clearly visible, in most cases making them taller so they are easier to see. How about getting rid of them? Okay? Not every map has to be cluttered with a bunch of junk. Maybe try an innovative step here and get rid of some of these obstacles. Size and layout. The Shattered Square is among the largest maps in the game, yes. And contrary to its name, it isn't even a square. It's actually a rectangle. Oh, big deal. The size of this map can make patrolling a little difficult. Yes. To help with this, we have reduced the size of the map, turning it into a proper square in the process. The positions of some tiles have been readjusted as a result. Okay. Line of sight. Most obstacles in the map tended to be fairly low, making it quite easy for killers to spot survivors at long ranges and difficult for stealthy killers to sneak up on survivors. To break up these long sight lines, we have rearranged some tiles to limit how far you are able to see from any given point. Okay. Screw over ranged killers again. Why don't you just make ranged killers 115 movement speed? At least give them that if you're going to make obstacles that they have to run around in order to actually hit the survivor. Navigation, last but not least, we have made various changes to the map easier to navigate. This includes making it clear which objects can be walked on and which will block your path. No. I guess. I don't know what that's supposed to be. But, okay. The McMillan Estate? Why are they working on the McMillan Estate maps? Our work on maps doesn't stop there. Well, you have other maps that are in desperate need of rework, like Garden of Joy or the Garden of Pain. I mean, come on. But they're concentrating on unimportant maps right now. Maps are actually fair to a certain extent. So it says the entire Macmillan Estate realm is being expanded. Each map in this realm has received a second alternate version. Why? Was this something people were wanting? You have maps that are in desperate need of rework that you still are refusing to do anything about. What does this mean? The next time you load in a suffocation pit, for example, things might be a little different. The trademark mine shaft will still be there, but it may be in a different spot. The shape and layout of the map might also be slightly different. Who cares? Work on maps that are problems. Come on. This is not hard. I'm sure you've received numerous people giving feedback about Garden of Pain, how horrible that map is. The goal of these variants add more variety to existing maps while changing unique properties that sets them apart, such as their size, a bottleneck, or choke point that separates whatever. You're wasting time, essentially. That's what you're doing, is wasting time and resources. When you could be working on maps that actually need reworks. Perks, now they have a few small tweaks, a handful of perks. Yeah, okay, we'll see about that. Furtive Chase. Furtive Chase is crap. It's one of the lesser used killer perks, providing a way to switch obsessions throughout the match and reduce your... Yeah, it's crap. To give this perk a slight boost, we are increasing the terror radius reduction for each token to 5 meters for a maximum of 20 meters. But you still have to hook your obsession. Yeah, no one's going to use this perk. It might as well not even be in the game. No one uses it now, and no one's going to use it after this change. Come on. Background players. Perks allows you to sprint very quickly when the killer picks up another survivor. Yeah, I've used it a few times. Try to get a hook sabotaged for a challenge. Not only is a perk highly situational, but it leaves you exhausted, which could... Yeah, it's supposed to leave you exhausted because it's an exhaustion perk. Which continues your chase shortly after. Make sure this perk is meaningful when it activates. We are increased the duration of the speed boost to 5 seconds was 4 seconds. Yep. Okay, whatever. It's still a very niche perk. It's as I said, it's good if you're going for a sabotage build, and that's about it. Maybe a flashlight save build. But listen how they word this. Not only is the perk highly situational, but it leaves you exhausted. Yeah, that's the whole thing with exhaustion perks. They're supposed to leave you exhausted, so you don't have unlimited use of them, you know? I mean, come on. Who's writing this? Someone new to this game is writing this or something? It leaves you exhausted. Oh, no, that's horrible. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. Sounds like this guy got hit by the stupid train. Killer tweaks. Cap things off. Yeah, we are short list of adjustments for a few different killers. Okay. Can't they just leave anything alone? I mean, there's some improvements that need to be made, but honestly, I think they need to, focus on the things people have been giving them feedback about. I highly doubt they haven't been getting feedback about, like, the Garden of Joy map. Yet that map is still not being touched. But let's see. Let's see what they have for killers now. The Trapper. Trapper fills a very unique role in Dead by Daylight. Since he is all over the cover and is unlocked right away, he ends up being a lot of people's first experience playing as killer. Because of this, we try to keep him as simple and straightforward as possible. See a trap, set a trap. Among newer players, the Trapper already performs fairly well. And we don't want to throw off that balance too much. That said, in higher end matches, the trapper can struggle to keep up. Yeah, no kidding. To assist in those cases, we have made a few changes. 8 bear traps will now spawn on the map, was 6. Trapper will receive a 7.5% haste effect after setting a bear trap. That's pretty good. That's like that one add-on that gives you a haste effect as well. So if the player runs that add-on, he'll be getting a 12.5% haste effect for a certain amount of time. That's not bad. That's not a bad change. Honestly, if I were to change Trapper, I would make it so he would carry all his traps at the beginning of the match. I don't see why he can't. It's very time consuming to have to go around the map, pick up your traps, and then set them somewhere else. There is an add-on that allows you to do that, but you can't pick up traps after you set them, which is really stupid. I don't understand what the point of that is. So honestly, if I was reworking Trapper, the first thing I would do is make it so he can carry all his traps. I mean, I don't think that would be too oppressive. I mean, come on. He would still have to set them up. He would be like Hag in that he'd still have to set up. So I don't understand why they don't have him start off with all his traps. We expect these changes to have a minimal impact in lower skill matches where the Trapper is already performing well, but provide a nice boost to higher end players who know how to take advantage of them. Additional bear traps will help ensure that you have an adequate supply, particularly on larger maps, and the added haste effect can help close the gap in case survivors catch on and begin running away while you set them. Okay. The Huntress and the Trickster. For both these killers, reloading your projectiles at a locker is a must. However, doing so gives survivors a big head start to run away and gain some distance. For this reason, many Huntress and Trickster players will run add-ons or perks like Iron Maiden to reduce their reload time. To improve quality of life and reduce reliance on these perks and add-ons, we have reduced the reload time for each killer to 3 seconds. Was 4 seconds. So they shaved a second off the reload time of Huntress and Trickster. Big deal. People are still going to run Iron Maiden. I mean, that's a must-have perk on these 2 killers for me. So just because you reduced it by 1 second it's still not going to discourage people from running Iron Maiden. I mean, come on. You want to improve their quality of life, make them base movement speed killers. 115%. I mean, that's not too hard, is it? That way, when they run out of hatchets or knives, they can still have if they're in the middle of a chase, they can still have a chance. The Deathslinger. Speaking of reloads, the Deathslinger will also find himself reloading very frequently. Yes, because of this. Add-ons which reduce his reload time see a lot of use. To make these add-ons less essential, we've taken part of the effect of the Warden's Keys add-on and incorporated it into the base kit and adjusted this add-on accordingly. The Deathslinger now reloads in 2.6 seconds. By default was 2.75. Oh, come on. A difference of what? 0.15 seconds. Come on. You couldn't do better than this? You really couldn't? More than this would just make it too oppressive? Second, we have increased the movement speed bonuses while aiming down sights for both the Jaw Smasher and Wand Poster add-ons to 1.5% and 3%, respectively. It was 1% and 2.5%, so they gave it a 0.5% boost. Big deal. No one's going to run those. No one runs those add-ons. No one's going to run them anyway, even with this thing. You are still slowed down when you were aiming down sights. No one aims down the Deathslinger sites for an extended period of time. It's just stupid to do so. Yeah, no one's going to run these add-ons. These guys are clueless. Legion. Lastly, we've adjusted Legion's BFFs add-on. This add-on granted a 4% movement speed increase when the gates were powered, so long as the killer managed to land enough Feral Frenzy strikes during the match. Since this effect needed to be earned and is only active during the very end of the match, we are increasing this movement speed bonus to 6% to make it more impactful. Yeah, I guess 2% it's okay. Reach the end of this month's developer update. Yeah. Each of the features will be available and trying a public test build starting this week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Full update going live on all platforms on a later date. Yeah. So probably 2 weeks from now. Be sometime early October. I'm guessing is when this will go live. So we'll see. Not really a great update. The biggest issue is, as I said, the anti-face camping mechanic. But it's anti-camping in general. It's not just face camping. I mean, what's the range? They don't tell you the range. This has all sorts of problems coming with it. I can just see. I mean, I can just see this being a major problem. I mean, yeah, it'll be good for survivors, but come on. You'll have less and less people playing Killer once again. I won't be motivated to play Killer. So, I really don't know what these guys are doing. They're just trying to please the majority, and the problem is without players on the opposite side, the majority will just be sitting in lobbies all the time. So I don't know. I'll have more insight when this goes live, but it's not looking good. Skull Merchant changes are looking okay. Honestly, I just wish they would delete her altogether. She's a very poor excuse for a villain. very pathetic. But we'll see. I'll give her a try after these changes go live. And, yeah. Shattered Square definitely needed adjusting, but so does Garden of Joy, and they're still not doing anything with that. They think working on Macmillan is a better idea for some stupid reason. So, well, that's it for the developer update. And we'll just have to see what happens with this mess. That's it for this video. See you in the next.